YouTube, Otaku here. We're going to be getting right back into it, page 362 of The Grapes of Wrath. Though I believe we're getting closer towards 363, we will continue on as such. Unfortunately, there's a very low amount of reserves when it comes to my reservoir of THC, and what little THC product I do entail is without the proper equipment. Sad to say that there are a few times where you're just gonna have to accept that you got everything but it, and you may have every piece of equipment that you could ask for, but if that one's still missing, then that one is required. Sad to say, but let's keep pushing, right? It's about to be some gnarly shit. I'm sorry, audience. Oh, we caught something. You did it. Just awful. But you know what? We are where we want to be, in a sense. I mean, you're always growing in life, but you can never stop growing within these moments. Alright, I'm back, and just took a quick second to please make sure to have waters as well. I just took a quick second to refresh myself. Not necessarily too sure where we left off, so I'm just gonna pick back up where I left next. God, I already saw what page 24 is gonna be like. Alright. Okay. Don't tell, but looky here. Don't knife your own folks. We're trying to get along, have fun, and keep order. Don't tear all us down. Just think about it. You're just harming yourself. Alright, boys. Put them over the fence. And don't hurt them. They don't know what they're doing. That was Hudson talking. The squad moved slowly towards the rear of the camp, and Hudson looked after them. Jewel said, "Let's just take one good kick at him." Willie cried, No, you don't. I said we wouldn't. Just one good kick, one little kick," Joel pleaded. "Just lift him over the fence." "No, sir," Willie insisted. "Listen, you," he said. Oh, this is Willie talking. "Listen, you," he said. "We're letting you off the hook this time, but you take back the word. If you ever do this here happen again, we'll just naturally kick the hell out of whoever comes. We'll bust every bone in their body. Now you tell your boys that. Hudson said you're our kind of folks. Maybe. I'd hate to think that." They neared the fence. Two of the seated guards stood up and moved over. Got some fellas going home early," said Willie. The three men climbed over the fence and disappeared into the darkness. As the squad moved quickly back towards the dance floor and the music of Old Dan Tucker scurried and whined from the stringy band, Over near the office, the men squatted and talked, and the shrill music came to them. Paul said, "There's a change a-comin'. I don't know what. Maybe we won't live to see her, but she's a-comin'. There's a restless feeling. Philly can't figure nothing out. He's so nervous." And the black hat lifted his head up again, and the light fell on his bristly whiskers. He gathered some little rocks from the ground and shot them like marbles with his thumb. "I don't know. She's a-comin' all right, like you said. Fella told me what happened in Akron, Ohio. Rubber companies. They got mountains of people in there 'cause they workin' cheap. And these here mountain people up and join the union. Well, sir, hell's just popped. All them storekeepers and legionnaires and people like that, they getting drills and yelling and reds, and they're gonna be right on the union right outside of Akron. Preachers getting to preach about it, and the papers are yodeling. And there's pick handles put out by the rubber companies, and they're just buying gas. Jesus, you think them mountain boys would regulate the devil?" He stopped and found some more rocks to shoot. "Well, sir, it was last March, and one Sunday 5,000 of them mountain men had a turkey shoot outside of town. 5,000 of them just marched down on over and took rifles. And then they had their turkey shoot, and then they marched back. And that's all they did. Well, sir, there ain't been no trouble since then. These here citizens' committees get back the pick handles, and the storekeepers keep their stores. Nobody's been clubbed, nor tarred, nor feathered, and nobody's been killed." There was a long silence, and the black hat said, "They're getting pretty mean out there. Burn the camp and beat up folks. I've been thinking, all our folks got guns. I've been thinking, might we ought to get up a turkey shooting club and have meetings every Sunday." The men looked up at him, and then down at the ground, and their feet moved restlessly, and they shifted their weight from one leg to the other. Page 364, chapter 25. The spring of beautiful California, valleys in which the fruits blossom in fragrant pink and white waters in a shallow sea, then the first trills of the grapes swelling from the old gnarled vines. Gnarled just means like thick. I remember Cat Williams teaching me that one. Cascade down to the cover of the trucks, the full green hills are round and soft as breast, and on the level vegetable lands onto the mile-long rows of pale green lettuce and spindled little cauliflowers. The gray-green unearthly artichoke plants, and then the leaves break out on the trees, and the petals drop from the fruit trees and carpet the earth with pink and white. The centers of the blossoms swell and grow in color. Cherries and apples, peaches and pears, figs in which the flower and the fruit, all California quickened with produce, and the fruit grew heavy. And the lambs bend gradually under the fruit so that little crutches must be placed under them to support the weight. Behind the fruitfulness are men of understanding and knowledge and skill, men whose experiment with seeds endlessly developing the techniques of greater crops of plants whose roots will resist the blights. These men work. I apologize, my nose is itchy. Developing the techniques for greater crops of plants whose roots will resist the millions enemies of the earth, the molds, the insects, the rusts, the blights. These men work carefully and endlessly to perfect the seeds, the roots, and there are the men of chemistry who spray the trees against pests, whose slurper, sulphur, who sulphur the grapes, who cut out diseases and roots and rots and mildews and sickness. Doctors of preventative medicine, men at the borders who look for fruit flies, for Japanese beetles, men who quarantine the sick trees and root them out and burn them, men of knowledge, the men who grab the young trees, the little vines, are the cleverest of all. For there is the surgeon's jobs, as tender and as delicate, and these men must have surgical hands and surgical hearts to slit the bark, to place the grafts, to bind the wounds, and cover them from the air. These are great men. Along the rows, the cultivators move, tearing the spring grass and turning it under to make a fertile earth. Breaking the ground to hold the water up near the surface, reaching the ground in little pools from the irrigation, destroying the weed roots that might drink the water away from the trees. And all the times the fruit swells and the flowers break out in long clusters on the vines. And all the growing year the warmth grows and the leaves turn dark green. The prunes lengthen like little green bird eggs, and the lambs sag down against the crutches underneath the weight. And the hard little pears take shape, and the beginning of the fuzz comes out of the peaches. Grape blossoms shed their tiny petals, and all hard little beads become green buttons, and the buttons grew heavy. The men who work on the fields, the owners of the little orchards, watched and calculate. The years is heavy with produce. The men are proud. First, for their knowledge, they can make the years heavy. They have transformed the world with their knowledge. The short, lean wheat have been made big and productive. The little sour apples have grown large and sweet, and the old grape that grew among the trees and fed the birds, its tiny fruit have mothered 1,000 varieties. Red and black, green and pale pink, purple and yellow, and every variety on its own flavor. The men who work in the experimental farms has made new fruits, nectarites, and 40 kinds of plums, walnuts with paper shells, and always they work, selecting, grafting, changing, driving the earth to produce. And first the cherries ripen, cent and a half a pound. Hell, we couldn't pick 'em for that. Black cherries and red cherries, full of sweet, and birds eat half of each cherry, and the yellow jackets buzz into the holes a bird's made, and on the ground the seeds drop and dry with black shreds banging from them. The purple prunes soften and sweeten. My God, we can't pick them and dry them and sulfur them. We can't pay wages no matter what wages, and the people prunes carpet the earth. At first the skins wrinkle a little, and swarms of flies come to feast, and the valley is filled with the odor of sweet decay. The meat turns dark, and the crop shrivels on the ground. And the pears grow yellow and soft, 5 cents a ton. Page 366. 5 cents a dollar for 45-pound boxes. Tree prunes and sprayed or charred, cultivated. Pick the fruit, put it in boxes, and load the truck. Deliver the fruit to the cannery. 40 boxes for $5. We can't do that. And the yellow fruit falls heavily on the ground and splashes on the ground. The yellow jackets dig into the soft meat, and there's a smell of fermenting rot. Then the grapes. We can't make good wine. People can't buy good wine. Rip the grapes from the vines, good grapes, rotting grapes, wasp-stung grapes, pressed stem grapes. Press dirt and rot. But there's mildew and formic acid in the vats. Add sulfur and tannic acid. The smell from the ferment is not the rich odor of wine, but the smell of decaying chemicals. Oh well, it has alcohol in it anyways. They could get drunk. The little farmers watched deads creep up on them like the tide. They sprayed the trees and sold no crop. They pruned and grafted and could not pick the crop. And the men of knowledge have worked, have considered, and the fruit is rotting on the ground, and the decaying mash in the wine. Vats is poisoning the air, and tasting the wine, no grape flavor at all, just sulfur and tannic acid and alcohol. This little orchard will be a part of a great holding next year, for the dead will have choked the owner. This vineyard will belong to the bank. Only the great owners can survive, for they own the canneries too, and 4 pears peeled and cut in half, cooked and canned, still cost 15 cents, and the canned pears did not spoil. They did not last for years. The decay spread over the state, and the sweet smells is a great sorrow on the land. Men who could graft the trees and make the seeds fertile and big could find no way to let the hungry people eat their produce. Men who have created new fruits in the world cannot create a system whereabout their fruits may be eaten, and the failure hangs over the state like a great sorrow. The works of the roots of the vines, of the trees, must be destroyed to keep up the price. And this is the saddest, bitterest thing of all. Carloads of oranges dumped onto the ground. The people came for miles to take the fruit, but this could not be. How would they buy oranges at 20 cents a dozen if they could drive out and pick them up? And men with hoses spurred kerosene on the oranges, and they are angry at the crime, angry at the people who have come to take the fruit. 1 million people hungry, needing the fruit, and kerosene sprayed over the golden mountains. That's just awful. They don't let those people pick that fruit they can't sell, so they just burn it. Pieces of shit. Burn coffee for fuel in the ships. Burn corn to keep warm. It makes a hot fire. Dump potatoes in the river and place guards along the banks to keep the hungry people from fishing them out. Slaughter the pigs and bury them. Let the prudence drip down into the earth. There is a crime here that goes beyond denunciation. Denunciation. I need to write that down. We're almost done with this page, and then we'll try for another reservoir. There is a star here that's weeping that cannot be symbolized. There is a failure here that topples all our success. The fertile earth, the straight tree rows, the sturdy trucks, and the ripe fruit. The children dying of plagiaria must die because a profit cannot be taken from an orange. And courtiers must fill in the certificates. Died of malnutrition because the food must be forced to rot. The people come with nets to fish for potatoes in the river, and the guards hold them back. They come in rattling cars to get the dumped oranges, but the kerosene is sprayed, and they stand still and watch the potatoes float by, listen to the screaming pigs being killed in the ditch and covered with quicklime. Watch the mountains of oranges slop down to a putrefying ooze. And in the eyes of the people there is a failure, and in the eyes of the hungry there is a growing wrath. In the souls of the people the grapes of wrath are filing and growing heavy for the vintage. They said the thing at the end. In the souls of the people the grapes of wrath are filing and growing heavy from the vintage. Chapter 26, page 368. Alright, we still got 7 minutes. Oh yeah. Are we going back to the Jolts? God, I hope so. Yes, we are. Yes. I miss the fam. Also, I got a little dangum around my neck. Looks pretty cool. Alright. In the weed patch camp, on an evening when the long-barred clouds hung over the set sun and inflamed their edges, the Jolt family lingering after their supper. The Jolt family. Alright. Ma hesitated before she started to do the dishes. We got to do something, she said, and she pointed to Winefield. Look at him, she said. And when they stared at the boy, he's a jerking and a twitching in his sleep. Look at his color. The members of the family looked at the earth again in shame. Fried dough, she said. 1 month we've been here and Tom's had 5 days of work, and the rest of you scrambling out every day and no work. And scared to talk, and the money's gone. You're scared to talk it out. Every night you just eat, and then you get to wandering away. Can't bear to talk it out. You got to. Well, you got to. Rosa Sharon ain't far from due. And look out her color. You got to talk it out. Now don't none of you get up till we figure something out. 1 day, more grease, and 2 days flour, and 10 potatoes. You sit here and get busy. To look at the ground. Paul cleaned his thick nails with his pocket knife. Uncle John picked at a splinter on the box as he sat down. Tom pinched his lower lip and pulled it away from his teeth. Ugh, his teeth are so dried out he's just ripping his skin off his lips. He released his lips and said softly, "We've been a-looking, Ma. Been walking out since we can't use the gas no more. Been going in every gate, walking up to every house. Even when we know there wasn't gonna be nothing. Put a weight on you. Going out looking for something you know you just ain't gonna find." Ma said fiercely, "You ain't got the right to be discouraged. This here family's going under. You just ain't got the right." Paul inspected his scraped nail. "We gotta go. We didn't want to go. It's nice here and folks is nice here. We're fearing we'll have to live in one of them Hovervilles again." "Well, if we got to, we got to. First thing is, we gotta eat, though." Al broke in. "I got a tank full of gas in the truck. I didn't let anybody get into that one." Tom smiled. "This here Al's got a lot of sense along while he's randy-pandy." "Now you figure," Ma said. "I ain't watching this here family starve no more. 1 more day's grease. That's what we got. Come time for Rosa Sharon to lay in, she got to be fed up. You figure this out. This here's hot water and toilets," Paul began. "Well, we can't eat no toilets," Tom said. "There was a fella come by today looking for men to go to Maryville, picking fruit." "Well, why don't you go to Maryville?" Ma demanded. "I don't know," said Tom. "Don't seem right. Somehow he just sounded all anxious. Wouldn't see how much the pay was. Says he didn't know exactly." Ma said, "We're going to Maryville. I don't care what they pay. We's a-going." "It's too far," said Tom. "We ain't got the money for gasoline. Couldn't get there. Ma, you say we gotta figure. I ain't done nothing but figure the whole time." Uncle John said, "Phyllis says they gone a couple up north, near a place called Tuliard. They ain't very far, the fella says." "Well, we got to get going and going quick. I ain't staying here no longer, no matter how nice." Ma took up her bucket and walked towards the sanitary unit for hot water. "Ma's getting tough," Tom said. "I see her getting and mad quite a piece now. She's just boiling over." Paul said with relief, "Well, she brings in all the open. Well, she bring it into the open. Anyways, I've been laying at night and burning my brains out. Now we can talk her out. Anyways." Paul came back with her bucket of steaming water. "Well," she demanded, "figure anything out?" "Just working her over," said Tom. "Now suppose we just move it up north where we could get cotton at. We'd be over this here country. We know there ain't nothing here. Suppose we pack up and shovel north. And when the cotton's ready, we'll be there. I kind of like to get my hands around some cotton. You got a full tank, Al? Question mark. Page 370. Almost. About 2 inches down. Should get us to that place." Ma posed a dish over the bucket. "Well," Ma demanded. Tom said, "You win, we'll move on, I guess." "Right, Paul?" "Guess we got to," said Paul. Ma glanced at him. "When is this happening?" "Well, no need for waiting. Might as well go in the morning." "We got to go in the morning. I told you before we left." "Now, Ma, don't think I want to go. I ain't had a good gut full of eat in 2 weeks. Of course I filled up, but I didn't take no good from it." Ma plugged the dish into the bucket. "We'll go in the morning," she said. Paul sniffed. "Seems like it's times are changing. he said sarcastically. Tight as well as what a man said what we do. Seems like a woman is telling us now. Seems like it's pretty near time to get us out of the stick. I think I'll finish this last paragraph. I'll call it here. Ma put the clean, dripping tin down out on the box. She smiled down at her work. You get your stick, Pa, she said. Times when there's food and a place to sit, then maybe you can use your stick and keep your skin whole. But you ain't doing your job, either at thinking or working. And if you was, why you could use your stick and women folks sniffing up their nose and creeping mousing around. But you just getting your stick now and you ain't licking no women. You're fighting cause you got a stick all laid out too. Alright, that's what I'm gonna call it, y'all. Page 370. Alright, peace.